my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're going to go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hi everyone, my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're going to go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab, and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Your Tubies of the world, your Hulu, your Netflix, your Peacock. So what separates Honey from all the other competitors?
That's a great question, Sean. Let's talk about what separates Honey from other streaming apps. First off, Honey offers cutting-edge content with a wide selection of a variety. They're even offering an adult pay-per-view section. But a more important question, what's in it for you? Well, here at Honey, we offer a premium choice to the public. So that means if you're a filmmaker or content creator, we give you the chance to submit your films for free to be featured on Roku itself. How insane is that? Of course, to sustain this and grow our efforts, we need all the support we can get. That's why we're asking you to join our cause in donating to Honey. Now, we know our goal may appear to come off as a bit steep, but the truth is any donation, even in the smallest form, would be greatly appreciated. Please join our cause. Every contribution makes a difference.
Welcome to Therapy Ain't No Joke. I am Sean Garvey, the architect. Thank you so much for joining with me on this Wednesday night. If you are new to the program, this is the show in which we talk about all things considered mental health in our community. Plus, we give you information on what you can do to access those resources if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis. Make sure you follow us on social media at The Mental Space Live. We have all the information at the bottom of the screen there, and we're going to provide you with additional information towards the end of the program. We've got a great show, a very bittersweet but informative show, and I'm so glad that I have this special guest that's going to be joining with me momentarily. But like I do at the beginning of every show, because it's very vital, it's very important that we all do this. And we're going to do a couple of breathing exercises. I like to do breathing exercises because it just helps me release all the tension and all the anxiety or anything that's bottled up inside me, just to be released So that way I can go about my day. So let's do it all together. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I feel like doing that for a third time. Let's go ahead and do it all together. One last time. Breathe in, breathe out. All right. Ooh, I feel so much better. What about you? All right. Make sure you do that on a daily basis. If you are facing some type of anxiety, or you may be having a panic attack, or whatever you're going through, do that. Okay. And also, I want to give this disclaimer out there that I am not a licensed therapist. Okay. A lot of people may mistaken me as a licensed therapist, but I am more so of a mental health advocate. So please, at the end of the show or after the show ends, if you need to get in contact with your local therapist or counselor, please do that. We're going to provide you with additional resources and information if you do not have a therapist in your local area. Before I bring on my special guest, just got to do a quick announcement here in case you all don't know, or in case you have not followed me on social media. We got a birthday bash that is going down next weekend. There we go, right there for all of my Aquarians and Pisces people out there, including you. You know, if you're celebrating all day, every day, I believe that every day is someone's birthday. But this special occasion is for everyone involved, including the Beat Break Morning Show, including myself, my very own Sharia Thomas, and DJ Roland. We're going to be at Donatello's in Conyers, Georgia. So if your face is in the place, we want you to come out and meet and greet the personalities from the Beat Break Morning Show and Reach One Communications. We're all going to be there next Saturday, February 21st from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And it's going down at Donatello's. And there's going to be, of course, DJ Roland's going to be on the ones and twos. Sharia is going to do her thing on the mic. Because she's not only a therapist, but she's also a singer as well. And I got some major announcements that I'm going to be delivering to the crowd at Donatello's. So make sure your face is in the place next Saturday night from 7 to 11 p.m. And the address is 1432 Dogwood Drive, Southeast Conyers, Georgia, 30013. Okay, so it's free. Of course, you got to pay for your own meal now. You got to pay for your own meal and your beverage of choice, but we definitely would love to see your face in the place next Saturday night from 7 to 11 p.m. We got our very special guests in the green room, but before I bring this gentleman up, I want to bring these two people on. They've been on my platform a couple of years ago, and they want to share some information to our listeners pertaining to mental health. So let's go over to Rasa, Yana, and Empress. Joining with us right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Good evening. How you all doing? Oh, we're trying to get the mute button there. We're trying to get y'all to unmute. Let me see if I can do it on my end.
Yes.
Yep.
Great. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Peace.
Peace and love.
Okay. So we got a little bit there. If we can adjust it. We got a little bit of there.
What would you like to adjust?
There's some feedback back.
1 second.
All right, sure. And while worked out, let me see if I can get you all back on mute here. While we getting that worked out on there, and again, we want to invite you and others to the birthday bash going down next Saturday, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So make sure you join us at Donatello's next Saturday night. And also, you can check out this program on the Mental Space Network on YouTube. Make sure you follow us there, the Mental Space Network, at the Mental Space Show on YouTube. We're also going to be having shows like these on demand on our Honey streaming app. You may have saw the promo during break on how to download the streaming app. So check us out on demand on the Mental Space Network and on the Honey streaming app and wherever you get your podcast from. Let's see if we can go back to Rasa and Empress and see if they got the audio worked out there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
All right, wonderful, great. Thank you all for coming on Therapy Ain't No Joke. This time around, we had you all a couple of years ago, and it's so interesting. and we'll get into it in a little bit in the later part of the show, because this is just timing, if you will. But you have some information you want to share to our listeners real quick.
In regards to mental health?
Yes, mental health, and what you brought to my attention the other day in the DM.
Oh, well, mental health, like there's a major connection between mental health and your actual biological health, right? It's not just so much as something that is you think it's just a mind thing. Based on the kind of work that we're doing, we're learning that diet plays such a role. How different things are modulating in the person, their diets, and just even brain function, right? So that's kind of the approach that we're coming from. We come from an approach where we deal with nutritional factors. Is more to it than just talking to people. Many of the therapists that we work with, most of the people are on the medications. We're the people that bridge people from being able to come from the medication into more a natural kind of sustained way.
Okay. And that's very important, especially in these days and times, with people that are transitioning very young, at a very young age. You see a lot of more and more people transitioning at a very young age, and we have seen an increase in uptick in people living unhealthy lifestyles. But like I said, we're going to definitely talk more about it later on in the program. And I would love for you, Rasa and Empress, to sit tight and hang out in the green room, because we're going to get into a very important conversation pertaining to not only mental health, but living a healthy lifestyle. So do you all have time to hang out in the green room?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Rasa and Empress. We're going to bring them back on in just a little bit right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. And this show is also going to be incorporated into the Beat Break Morning Show with DJ Rollum. Speaking of DJ Rollum, happy birthday to my brother and my co-host from the morning show, DJ Rollum. He could not be on tonight's Therapy Ain't No Joke because he is somewhere getting paid. All right. But we send him our birthday wishes to the one and only DJ Rollum. Before we bring this special guest on Therapy Ain't No Joke, I want to play something for you. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very bittersweet. This is a very bittersweet part of the show, especially when it comes to people that I met along the way in radio in my career. I just celebrated my 23-year anniversary of being in radio broadcasting, and this gentleman who is here in the spirit and no longer with us in the physical has been one of my inspirations coming up in radio. And that would be, of course, Simon Baby. So I'm going to play a promo of a interview. Actually, it's a teaser, if you will, of my sit-down interview with Simon Baby and just how he showed the love to both me and DJ Rollum in 2016 when he came down to one of the studios in Atlanta and, sat down and chopped it up with me about his radio career and so much more. And let's go ahead and play the video clip, and then we'll get into tonight's guest. So let's go ahead and play it.
Hey, this is Simon Baby from the ATL. I appreciate everybody checking us out on Magic 107.5, but I want you to stick around because I am getting with my man Sean Garvey and DJ Rollum, Beat Break Radio.
That's right. Brand new season of the Beat Break Morning Show coming this fall. Check us out. Simon Baby, who paved the way for myself, including DJ Rollum, on the Beat Break Morning Show. Simon Baby, weekdays 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Magic, ATL Magic 107.5.
You the man.
All right, no, you the man. You just made me look good.
All right, that was one of my best moments with the late and great Simon Baby, who at the time did afternoons with Chubb Rock. Chubb Rock and Simon Baby, The Ride on Magic 107.5, 97.5 in Atlanta. And joining with us right here is the son of the late and great dearly departed Simon Baby, the one and only Silas Alexander, right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening. How we doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Listen, I don't know whether to call you Silas or Lex, because I
Whichever you want to call me, whichever you want to
yeah,
call me.
yeah, because your father, who meant so much to us in the radio industry, in the Atlanta radio market for so many years, he spoke very highly of you, and always referred to you as Lex. And let me just say, you have the resemblance. You definitely do.
For sure. I'm grateful that I had that resemblance. Like you said, it's hard to, kind of accept that he's not here with us anymore. But I like to joke and say that I get the best reminder every day when I look in the mirror. So
Yeah. Um, let's go back in time a little bit. About I want to say about a few months or so after the transition of Simon Baby, and I was at News and Talk 1380 WAOK V103 at the time. And that night, we had you and your mother, Miss Alexander, of course, or Mrs. Alexander now, in the studio, for which, of course, was the mental space at the time.
Mhm.
And I was out sick. I
Mhm.
caught whatever I was catching. It was probably like COVID or whatever, but I
Yeah.
was out sick. And I was so disappointed in myself, Silas, because I wanted to be in the studio with the two of you just to have that face to face conversation and talk about how you all are dealing with the loss of such a great legend and a great father and a great husband and a great family man. And I mean, it was still fresh at the time. It was
Mhm.
still fresh. And years later now, of course, you carrying your father's legacy and everything. I want to ask you, it's been years now. It's not too long, but it's been only a few years.
Mhm.
How are you feeling right now, fast forward into 2026?
I can say now it's taking some time. Um, and me and my mom, we live by this thing that we had been going on at the time of I'm adjusting. And so I feel like I'm getting to a point where I can almost get to saying I'm adjusted. And to kind of further add to that point, I struggled a lot mentally as far as just, having to accept that he was no longer there, having to um I think we as black men sometimes feel like we have to step into this role of becoming the man, like of our families and of our households, and just trying to make sure that everybody else is okay. And I think for a few years I was so focused on that part of it that I was also neglecting my own mental health and my own struggles and my own way of dealing with things. And I feel like over time, I've been able to talk to different therapists. I've been able to kind of have my own journey, and with the help of my mother, with the help of my wife, with the help of family and friends, I feel like I'm honestly the best I've ever been. It's just as far as just even being able to deal with it, but also to even be someone who can help others who go through that loss. Because one of the things me and my mother talk about a lot is that a lot of people are not blessed to have community. And we had such a big community come and support us at that time that if we didn't have that, I don't know how we would have even made it to this point now. So now I feel like one of my purposes and one of my goals is to be able to have that community, but also create that community for others, and just really, bring us all together. And just, even though grief takes, not grief, excuse me, loss takes from so much of us, just to really kind of come back and just know you have others that have gone through it, you have others that are going to be there with you, and life can continue to go on and still be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah. Your father, so many accolades. I mean, he
Hmm.
was just a guy from Eatonton, Georgia, who wanted to be in media, and he started
Hmm.
out as a weatherman for a local TV station, and then went on to work at several Atlanta radio markets, including, of course, Magic 107.5, 97.5 later on, and
Hmm.
then or before that there was Kiss, and then at B103,
Hmm.
and also did some work in between in the media space and what have you. And he starts a family during that transition during his radio career. He starts a family, he brings you into the world. And so I want to ask you, what was the father-son relationship like in the household?
We had a great relationship. I tell everybody all the time, he was just more than my father. He was like my best friend because we always joke and we had the same interests. He was my confidant where I didn't always feel comfortable talking to everybody. I know I could talk to him and he would understand. He would know, hey, we look alike, but we also got a lot of the same thoughts. So, what you're thinking, maybe you're not trying, maybe you don't know how to say it. Let me help you say it, or maybe, you're having a hard time getting it out, but just know somebody can relate to you. So, he everybody talks about different moments they had. I loved hearing, your story with them, and just I hear stories all the time, and I think to myself often, how were you able to create all of these different connections but still be a great father at the same time? Because I never felt like he wasn't there. For as busy as he was always present. He was always at everything he could make. He was always, you know making time where we could talk and have our own one-on-one time. So he was, I mean, if I could go back and create my own father, I would just say, hey, give me that man right there.
Mm. That's very, very powerful. I mean, with me coming from a single parent household,
Hmm.
I didn't have the luxury of seeing my father every day. I would see
Hmm.
my dad every once in a while. We didn't have that. We didn't have that relationship like you and Simon did. But I was
Hmm.
fortunate enough, Silas, to come from a community back in the day when Atlanta was a community.
Yeah,
Back
yeah,
in the day,
exactly. Exactly.
we had
It-
men in the community, we had men in the village that looked out for each other and looked out
mhm,
for the younger men that were coming up, especially if one of us like
mhm,
myself didn't have that father present in the household. And that's why I
absolutely.
thank goodness that Reggie Gay, your father's colleague and friend, they came up in radio together.
Hmm.
He became what my father wasn't, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And, just coming up in radio and meeting Reggie Gay for the first time back in 2007 and teaching me life lessons, and
Hmm.
especially about how to survive as a Black man and stuff. This is what a father figure is to me.
Hmm.
So with a person like Simon, with a father like Simon, and you said it best, like you are we're just more than father and son. You are like best friends, and
Hmm.
you being that vulnerable to go to your father and tell him anything and everything that you may not be able to tell to or talk to someone about it. I mean, that speaks volumes. Can you, you know?
No, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. And, I always think about how blessed I am because I know a lot of people who come from single parent households. I know people who are adopted. And, I try not to talk about it too much because I understand that feeling of like, I didn't have that. And I don't want to come off as braggadocious about it at all. But I
Right.
also, take those things he taught me and take that person that he showed me how to be and try to apply that as well. And, if I see younger people, I always try to help them out. If I have friends or colleagues that are trying to elevate in whatever way, and if I have a way of supporting that, I try to do the same thing. Like he kind of gave me, in short, the blueprint of what it means to be, and I say a real man, a partner to your spouse, a father to your child to your children, a son to your parents. Just what a man is supposed to be. It's not the macho thing. It's not the I'm the provider or anything like that. But he knew how to be what you needed him to be in that moment. And to me, that's where I try to live that way in my everyday life now.
Yeah. I have so many questions to ask you, Silas. It's ridiculous,
Yeah, I want to hear them all. I want to hear them all.
Listen, like, let me tell this story real quick to our viewers that don't know and how I met Simon Baby. So I was at a job fair years ago. This
Mhm.
was like months before we actually did the interview.
Mhm.
And I met him. He was at a booth. This was at the Georgia International Convention Center on the south side of Atlanta. And he was
Okay.
broadcasting live. This was at the time when he was definitely on Magic. And I just went up to him and I just told him who I was and how much he meant to me in the radio broadcasting, and we took a picture together, and that was me holding up the HR 6A, I think it's the 681 bill,
Mhm.
and he showed me how approachable he is compared to other people in the industry that are not approachable just like
Mhm.
him. Has
Right.
that always been him? Has that always been Simon, like that approachable type of person you just go up to and just give him a hug or a handshake? Has he always been like that?
He's always been like that. I mean, he was like that from, like I said, my earliest memory. You could be a stranger who's never, just never really even who didn't know who he was or what he did. He just had that energy about himself, and I think you can maybe even kind of co-sign that. He had an energy about himself that was just welcoming. It
Yeah,
it you didn't have, you could just say, "Hey, I'm such and such from wherever, and I heard you on the radio." He'd be like, "Oh, come give me a hug." And you just felt that warmth, like just from the first words that he spoke to you. So I I can say like he's always been that person. Even when he was going through his cancer, a lot of people are like, I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be around people. I don't, he I want to tell the story real quick because I think it talks about who he was as a person.
sure.
We went to the cancer center over in Atlanta, and I remember the day they kind of just said, we hate to say it, but there's nothing else we can do. And he didn't get upset. He didn't cry. He just said, "I thank you all for everything you've done." And every doctor, every nurse, and even a handful of the patients that had consistently seen him there just started crying. And we're talking about people who see this every single day. And they all said he had such a great positive personality that they were like, it just doesn't feel real that we're not going to be able to see this anymore. But they were saying the same thing you said. Like he was just welcoming, he would make them laugh. And they're like, "You're going through this and you're making our day better." And so I think again, it just speaks to just such the great individual that he was, that he just, I mean, like you said, he felt like your best friend on the first time you've ever even said hello to him. And I think that's honestly the best way I could put it.
Yeah. I recall having one or two phone conversations with Simon because at that time, and this was before I got on with B103 and WLK. I remember there was a
Mhm.
time where I was, trying to get on with a particular radio station.
Mhm.
you know,
I got you. I got you.
I was trying to get on the inside, Silas. I was trying to get on
You
the inside.
you're trying to do what you got to do.
I had to do what I had to do. I had that gap from leaving one radio station and trying to go to another.
Mhm.
And I remember Simon telling me to focus, and I'm just paraphrasing, right?
Mhm.
He told me, Sean, just focus on starting your own, building your own radio station because
Mhm.
of the way things are now with digital and with internet media, et cetera, et cetera. And so, was there ever a point in time, you Silas, that you wanted to follow in your father's footsteps? And Simon told you, Silas, no, 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 you going to school for engineering.
That Yeah,
That-
we definitely had that conversation. We had it many times actually. I can remember the earliest conversation. I think I was maybe 10, 11, and I'd seen his world in radio, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. Like I like this, coming up to the radio station, seeing them work the microphone, every now and then you might get lucky see a celebrity or two." I was like, "Oh, this is where it's at." And I remember he said, "Hey, look, son, I know this seems good now, but go do something that makes some real money." And I would always just kind of be like, "What you mean?" I'm a kid. I don't know the concept of money at the time, but
right.
as I got older and as we actually kind of had more serious conversations about it, he would tell me, he said, "I want you to always pay attention to trends." He said, "I want you to watch the trend of radio. I want you to watch the trend of everything. And no matter what it is that you're doing," he said, we talked about engineering a little bit. And he said, "Well, if you go into engineering," he said, engineering's not going nowhere. I do civil engineering for anybody who doesn't know. So, roads are always going to need to be built. Bridges are always gonna need to be built. Yeah, I mean, we need water, we need, storm sewers and all those different things. He's like, that's not going anywhere. He said, but let's look at radio. He said, all right, right now, uh, you heard about that news article? Where'd you hear that? I said, oh, it popped up on my phone. He said, exactly. He's like, that's radio's competition. He said, so anytime you're not paying attention to the radio, whether it be Facebook, Instagram Live, whether it's your phone in general, that's competition for me. He said, so if you do want to do this, I'm gonna tell you now, figure out a way, which what you're doing now, figure out a way to connect everything, put the pieces together. Have a radio show, but if you broadcast it here so other people can see it as well and try to do it that way. He said, now it's harder to do. And when you have a bunch of, other people who are essentially broadcasters, whenever we get on these Instagram lives or stories or anything like that, he was like, he's like, I want you to pay attention to those things and really think about it. What makes the most sense? And we went down the engineering route. But I'll say he was always thinking about the next step. And I'm glad that he shared that with you as far as, hey, you know what? This is great over here. It's nice. And I'm happy you want to get over here, but you can get ahead of the curve and start doing these things here that I'm seeing. And you can grow and create your own network and create your own thing. You don't have to worry about some of the other politics. And what ends up happening down the road is those same people that denied you then come back and say, hey, see what you got going on here. We want to talk to you about, and you can kind of, work it a little differently. But like I said, he was a visionary when it came to that kind of stuff. I'll tell this quick story real quick, and I want let it keep going. But uh, friend of ours did a interview with him some years ago. His name's Tallboy, and he during this interview, I want to say this was 2009. He was talking about, again, transitioning changes and understanding how to adjust. And at the time, he said, "There's gonna come a day where at McDonald's you're gonna walk up, you're not gonna talk to anybody. There's gonna be a screen. You're just gonna order on the screen." And there's not going to be any human interaction. That was in 2009. It's 2026. You can't see any McDonald's to this day that
Yep.
doesn't have that. And
Yep.
to now, there are kids who don't even talk to people when they go there. They just go straight to the screen, wait, get their stuff, and keep going. But
Right.
he saw that early. He saw the trends. He saw the things that were going on. And so, that was the one thing he always shared with us, that pay attention to the trends. Look at what's there. And if this is the route you want to go, find the things that other people don't see.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play a clip in just a few moments, but it took me years to really understand and to
Mm-hmm.
realize what he's saying was so true.
Mm-hmm.
The years that I spent working in radio, and even my stint at the former radio station that I worked at a few years ago, I have experienced and witnessed the politics
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with the people that you just be like, I mean, don't get me wrong now. There were people and to this very
Mm-hmm.
day that I'm still cool and good with and what have you.
Of
But
course.
but it's like what someone said in radio that was echoing what somebody else said, and they took a chapter from the 48 Laws of Power book by saying, you never want to overshadow the master, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be somebody coming in to the industry that might be better than you, and you up here, and that person is there, and they working their way up towards it, and that one person is going to do everything they can to knock you back down, and all that type of thing, right? But I got to witness working in commercial radio what it is, and that's what it is. It's the politics, it's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the bullying, it's sometimes the ego and stuff like that. And I was just fortunate, Silas, to be on both sides, to
Mm-hmm.
be on air talent and to work behind the scenes as well, and finding something that I'm good at doing, but at the same time building relationships with people that saw something in me that the
Right.
others did not see. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely now understood why your father Simon said what he said in 2026. I want to play a clip. I don't know if you knew that your father Simon did an interview with a college student. I know he done a lot of interviews. We know he has
Mhm.
done plenty of interviews, but there was an interview he did a few years ago where he was telling this young college student the same thing that he instilled in me and a few others. And I'm gonna play it for you. I'm not gonna play the entire interview, but just
Mhm.
play some of it and just let you and everybody else hear what he relayed to this young lady. So let's go ahead.
Okay.
My name is Brittany Chanel, and welcome to Grady News Source Spotlight. Today, I'm joined in the studio with the awesome Simon, baby. Simon, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Brittany. How are you today?
I'm great, and I'm so.
So there are other people who have great bubbly personalities, but not necessarily are have the great image for TV or for and radio is not just radio anymore. It's all digital media. So what we do on the radio is now on the web. So we're actually in front of cameras as well now. Some people are great at selling. They just have a natural knack for selling. So it's like, put yourself on out there and make that money because they make commission.
Oh, yes,
if you
they
sell
do.
a lot, you get a lot. So I would encourage people and interns to schedule a little time, and you're going to have to be aggressive because people in jobs are only interested in doing what's going to make them some money. They're not all interested. You'll find some people every now and then who are nice
Right. Yeah.
and who are bringing people up. But a lot of people are not concerned with your schedule. That's your schedule, that's your life.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to be aggressive enough to reach out to me and to ask me what I do and to try to involve yourself in my daily routine, I'm not going to share it with you. There are other people who are insecure. They don't want to share a lot because they're afraid. If I teach you too well, you might take my job. And
Wow. Wow. Is this was that your first time seeing that?
I've actually seen it before. So
You
as
seen it
soon as
before.
you pulled it up, I said I know I do remember this one. So yeah, it's like I said. I mean, hey, the video speaks for itself, man. He's always, and I think one thing he said there, um, that really I think it applies to everybody. You just gotta want it because most people aren't gonna want to give it to you. He was one of a kind where, like as you said earlier, he might have been here compared to where someone else was at in their career. He said, "Hey, get up here to me, pass me up. I want to see you pass me." But he was right to other people who want to kind of keep you here, keep you down here, whatever the case is. So, but just kind of having that grind, having that understanding of, hey man, you got to go get it. And yeah.
I want to ask you something, and this was a question that I was going to ask you offline.
Mhm.
May rub a few feathers here, but I'm just being transparent.
Okay.
When Magic, which is under the Radio One Atlanta Urban One umbrella, when they decided to take Simon and Chubb off the air in the afternoons and replace them with, we're not gonna say his name, but with
Hmm.
another well-known radio personality who's just
Hmm.
as legendary as your father. How did you all take it? Like, what was the reaction and the energy in that household when your father came in and told you and your mother, "Hey, they took me and Chubb off the air"?
Hmm.
What was that?
Honestly, we just kind of looked at it. It's business. We just to like you said, it may ruffle some people, but we have a good relationship with them. We have a good relationship with, like you said, that person, and it's been something that you kind of just understand his business. You said it earlier. He's worked at Kiss. He's worked at V. He went back to Kiss. He went back to V. He worked at Magic. He been moved around. Like you get to the point where, and I think he kind of helped us with that. Because when you're the family and you don't really know the business, you are kind of like, well, why they go and take y'all off and everything. He did a good job of also explaining, hey, that's just the business, but we have a plan. We got a plan A. Plan A didn't work, so now we go to plan B. Okay, plan B don't work, we go to plan C. And you just keep doing that. So for us, we really didn't have like a big issue. We, of course, we're like, well, we look, disrespect to anybody. I'm just biased. I'll say that. Y'all should be on there because I think you're the best radio personality in the world. But at the same time, it's that understanding of, hey, they want to go in a different direction. Both parties kind of understood where they were at, and everybody's kind of went their own way. I think in the end, both sides found some success. I mean, like everybody else goes through, kind of go through their lows, go through the highs, but overall for us, we just kind of said, all right, well, what's next? He was somebody else that didn't sit or didn't allow us to sit in negativity too long. So if something
Mhm.
were to happen, you don't
Right.
sit there and say, "Oh, woe is me." You're like, "All right, what we doing next? What's the next thing? Okay, this didn't work. What's the next move?" And so that's why, I think for us, we there's no hard feelings or there's no it with anybody. It's just, hey, things didn't work out. That's just how the business goes. And if
So
we it might come to
everything was amicable
yeah,
at the
everything was amicable. Yeah, everything was amicable.
right,
Yeah.
because what you said, it's business, right? And we've seen this happen all the time, and like even we can go as far as with what happened with the radio station in New York, Hot 97. It was that
Mm-hmm.
big controversy about Ebro in the morning and them
Mm-hmm.
being let go and being replaced by someone else that's also well known but never been in the same space as Ebro and his team.
Right.
And it goes back to what your dad said about just going out and starting your own, which of course eventually Simon and Chubb went out and did. They did their own thing on another platform,
Mm-hmm.
and they still saw a lot of great success from that.
Exactly. Yeah. And so and that's essentially what you just said is what they did. They said, okay, you know what? This didn't work out. We see the direction they want to go. We respect it. We understand it. Let's go ahead and start our own thing. Let's see what we can do together. And to your point, like you said, I think they did a lot of great things in their years together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. For those who are just tuning in, we are talking to the son of Simon Baby, Silas Alexander, joining with us right here on the mental space. Well, not the mental space now; it's therapy. But we are an offspring of the mental space.
There we
Sean
go.
Garvey, right here on the Mental Space Network. And we're going to bring on our guests in just a little bit. They are still waiting in the green room there. We're going to bring them on in just a few moments. Want to switch gears and talk about the moment when Simon went online and announced that he has found out or discovered that he has or had pancreatic cancer.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think your dad wanted to publicly announce that to the entire world? Because some people that are in a particular space, especially when it comes to celebrity and in the public figure space, they want to keep it to themselves because it's none of their business,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to keep it private because they are just hoping for the best, that they would survive or ride this thing out and get to that road of recovery without the public even knowing. But why, Silas, why do you think your dad decided to disclose that information to the public?
You know what? Honestly, I can tell you, we discussed it as a family. We sat around, we talked about it, and at first he kind of was like, I don't know if I really want to tell people. I'm not sure if people really gonna care or anything like that. But we just kind of said, you know what? I think it would be good for people to know. We thought it would be a good opportunity for people who had their own battles that they were dealing with to just be transparent. I think sometimes we try to hide those things and, like you said, kind of suffer in silence. And when he finally said, okay, you know what, I think I'm gonna do it. I think, I've been we've been kind of quiet. People kind of been asking, like, hey, where are you? Haven't heard you. And he said, I think it's time to just come clean and be honest about it. And I'm so happy that he did that because that moment birthed so much. It was part of the reason we started our foundation. It was part of the reason that we were able to have that community that we had. It was part of the reason that instead of you know how sometimes people pass suddenly and you think to yourself, I just wish I was able to say whatever. That gave the opportunity for so many people to call, and me and my mother learned so many things about my dad that we had no idea about. We heard about people he had helped, and that changed it, like something that changed those people's lives, that they were able to call and just say, hey, I never told you this, but I thank you, because if it hadn't have been for you, I wouldn't have been able to get out of that moment. It was people who shared their experiences and so many different things that, we look back now, and those are fond memories for us, just thinking about, like, man, that was my father, that was my mother's husband, like that was our guy. And so, for him initially, it was, of course he was hesitant, but he definitely took that opportunity and says, you know what, this might help somebody. This might help somebody who's afraid to go ask for help, or who's afraid to, talk about their own issues, just to put that on Front Street. And like I said, I think that moment was um like a very eye-opening moment for us, and just a very what's the word I'm looking for here? Just a powerful moment for us. Like, I think it's created the foundation for who we are, what we're trying to build, just everything. I think it's just what we're doing right here, right now, sharing stories, sharing memories, sharing, you know, these gems and things that he's taught us. So I'm forever grateful that he did take that time to just let everybody know, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. We know we're all human. We all got an expiration date. I just happen to know that mine's coming a little sooner than others.
When do you think his transition dawned on you? I'll tell you when it dawned on me.
Mhm.
Uh, his transition dawned on me when I was in Florida, and I
Mhm.
was working for FEMA. This was in 2024, and I was sitting at my desk one day, and it was one of those downtime periods, and
Mhm.
I was on the phone. I was on YouTube just scrolling, and I typed in Simon Baby because I wanted to revisit those videos of
Mhm.
him being interviewed and having those conversations with people that I've seen in the past. And this was the time, Silas and everyone, where I took a pause from doing radio because I was doing something else in Florida. And when I saw just his charisma and his down to earth personality and how he answered the questions and his kindness and everything, I started crying. I started crying because I regretted not having more time
Mhm.
to talk to Simon. Or, when I was at the studio and he was at B103, this is when
Mhm.
the illness got worse. And he called in on one of the shows, and I was just so busy, Silas. I was in the studio just doing 10 things, a
Yeah,
producer's job, doing 10 things. We
just
screening calls, we doing all
I was
this,
about to
right?
say, you just moving, you're not thinking.
We
Yeah,
just
I'm
moving.
with you.
We moving. We shaking. We moving. We shaking. And
Exactly. Yeah.
I just remember telling him like, hey, Simon, I hope you get well and everything's gonna be okay and everything. But I should have had more time
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
I should have had one. And that's when it dawned on me the year after that, when I went to Florida and I was just at my desk and I started crying because Simon, it was like he was an angel in disguise.
Mhm.
He just came
Mhm.
down from the heavens and God put him here to make a difference and to touch people's lives and stuff, which mission accomplished. He did.
Yeah.
But going back to my original question to you, when did it dawn on you?
I had two moments. The first was the year first, as I say. So like when it officially was a year after he had passed, it became real that okay, this is the new reality. It's not like a bad dream. It's not like he's just away on a trip or anything like that. That was the first moment where I really kind of was like, oh wow, this is life now. The second was my wedding day. I got married March 16th of 2024 to my lovely, beautiful wife, Stacy. And it was so one of the things that we decided to do was my mom walked out with a photo of my dad. And I had been good all day, but when I saw the doors open, I saw her walk down and I saw people's tears. That's when I said, oh, he's not going to be here for any of my future stuff. He's not gonna. I mean, he's spiritually here. Let me say that because I think that's another way I've been able to cope with it all. He's spiritually always here because even now when we're talking about him, that's his spirit dawning on us. But he's not gonna be here for my wedding day, when I have my first child, when they take their own the first steps and things like that. He's not gonna be here for those moments, and I cried. But then I also thought about while he will not physically be here and while those moments still hurt, I'm thankful that I had somebody that I can miss. I'm thankful that I had a person that left such an impact that I'm gonna be upset that they're not gonna see these things. I had to almost change my thinking about it in the moment because I'm like, this is one of the happiest days of my life. I'm
Yeah.
getting married to the woman of my dreams, and but I can't be sad because he's not here. I gotta be thankful that when he was here, they got to spend time together and got to talk. And she even said herself, she's like, I feel robbed that I didn't get to spend more time with him. And I told her, I said, the other thing that I do and the thing that I find solace in is that when you share your stories, when I hear the stories from others, I'm like, if you ever want to know who he was or what he was like, just listen to other people, and
Mm,
that brings you so much comfort that even if it was just for a second, you got to be around that. You got to be around that kind of person. So to answer your question, I know I kind of went off, but
no, no.
the first was definitely, when I was like, okay, this is a year of his passing. It's not a bad dream anymore. But my wedding day was the one that really was the gut punch, but it was so warming in the same sense too, just because I saw everybody miss him, but also felt everybody feel him. Like he's not physically here, but he's here. And the saying, ain't no party like a Sideman party, because the Sideman
Yeah.
party don't stop. And
Right.
I can say happily we partied that day. So I felt like, I've never told anybody this, and I'm happy to say it for the first time here. Um, it felt like we had a different MC, we had a DJ, but it felt like he was MCing the wedding, the reception. The
Mm,
energy that you feel when you were at a Sideman party, or when you were at Club Bolts or Vegas Nights back in the day, or Pearl Bistro, all his other spots. It felt like that energy. And I was like, he's here. He's here because ain't no this only a Sideman party right here. You know what I mean? So it's been things like that that I've had to learn to embrace rather than be upset about.
and another thing too, because I listen to commercial radio all the time. I'm still a radio guy and an analog radio
Hmm.
person every day, and
Hmm.
it just wasn't the same listening to
Hmm.
the radio anymore, because I'm so used to, when I'm driving in my car, I'm used
Yeah.
to not only hearing him in the afternoons, but I'm used to hearing him at night when he would
Yeah.
do his live radio remotes from
Hmm.
Club Boat and the other club venues across the greater metro Atlanta area that he would do his live remotes from. And when he transitioned and everything, I just couldn't listen. I felt like I couldn't listen to the radio anymore.
Yeah, that's hard. I struggle with it now. I was gonna say I can't even. It's just because I know if I can't hear them, it just doesn't. It don't sound right. And it's
Yeah.
nothing against anybody else. I still appreciate everybody's effort to radio and their contributions to radio, but like it just don't sound the same, you know. So, but I'm 100% with you. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you only have a few minutes, Silas, but I want to bring these two people on because, of course, your dad, Simon, transitioned from pancreatic cancer.
Mhm.
And I think it's also paramount, Silas, that we continue to raise the awareness about cancer and how it's rapidly taking the lives of so
Mhm.
many people in our community and the mental health aspect to all of it, whether
Mhm.
it's, pancreatic or colon or other forms of cancer. And I want to bring on these two important people here that we brought on at the very beginning of tonight's taping of Therapy Ain't No Joke. We're
Mhm.
bringing back Rasa and Empress with us. And Rasa, Yana, Empress,
Hello,
say hello
hello.
to Silas.
Greetings,
Yes,
greetings.
greetings. Our
Greetings. How you
condolences.
doing?
Yeah.
Condolence to you, brother, and
Thank
loving
y'all
your
very
energy,
much.
brother. I see his energy in you, so it
Yes.
I appreciate
continues.
that.
It
Thank y'all
continues.
so much. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you. It's a pleasure to meet y'all.
definitely.
Nice to meet you as well.
If you want me to do an introduction, or you want to dive in?
No, we're good. Yeah. So, on the topic that you are speaking about, which is cancer,
Mhm.
something that's affecting a lot of people in the current time. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be an old person. Could be a young person. It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
because of the environmental factors, the type of foods that we're eating, and just different lifestyle practices that kind of affect the way our bodies operate. So,
Mhm.
thank you also for bringing us on to talk about this because this is important. We appreciate you for that. Um, Cancer, what is it? A lot of people don't understand what cancer is, right? As far as definition is concerned, um, when we look at cancer, we're looking at it from a biological perspective. Operation, how is the body doing this? Is it the body that's doing this? Is it a toxin that's doing this, or is it something that you're taking in? So what we have been working on lately is something called adjunctive system care, right? Which
Mhm.
is a avenue that is completely legal but not being occupied. It's a space where when someone has been diagnosed with something very critical and modern medicine has reached their limits, you have a card that you could pull called adjunctive, right? Adjunctive meaning who is smart enough to figure this out when we can't.
Right.
Okay, that's what that means. Um, we've been working with a lot of different people lately, different types of cancers. I don't really like to use that word because it's not even the correct word to use, but
Mhm.
I'm just using it because people know what that word means. Um,
Understand? Mhm.
we've been getting a lot of success rate as far as the approach because we're approaching it from a scientific perspective, not a perspective of saying symptoms or treatment, but as a whole being to understand what you are, what you're doing, what you're producing every day. Is it your body that's producing this? Because it is the body that produces it, right?
Right.
Um, it's understanding the underlying works of lifestyle practice. How is it that you're digesting your food? What was your preconditions? Do you have diabetes? Do you have severe stress? Did you have things that burnt out your receptors? So when we look at it from this perspective, we approach it as respect. The first thing is you have to respect the body that the person lives in. That's the first
Mhm.
thing, right? You have to second understand what systems regulate what systems. How do we actually stimulate repair from a molecular level? Because when you're dealing with cancer, it is molecular, meaning
Right.
smaller than the treatment. So if the treatment is this size and the cancer is this size, you're probably going to catch some of them, but you may not catch all of them. Okay.
Okay.
So when we do this approach with the adjunctive that we provide, we encourage people to go on protocols, right? So protocols saying what type of protocol do you need to go on? What do you need to do? So protocol is for consistency. Why is it for consistency? It's for consistency because your bones are producing cells every day, right? But do we support the function of the bone? Do we support the function of the kidneys? Do we support the function of the liver every
Mhm.
single day? And no, random food, modern diet cannot do it. Unfortunately, modern diet is just for arms, muscle, walking, all of that. When it comes on to operational signaling, hormones, proliferation of red blood cells in the proper size, them being able to collect the oxygen, clearing out interstitial waters, which is toxic, metabolic toxic waste, right? It's not being approached in that light.
Mhm.
And most of the times when we do get clients, they're post chemo, they're post radiation, they're post everything. They've already done everything already, right? And sometimes we get the question, well, if the doctor can't figure it out, how could a simple person like you do it? And it's not really about simplicity. It is more about, what are we looking for? How do we need to deal with it? How do we need to support it? How do we need to regulate it? It's never about force at all. Nature does not respond to force. Okay, that's the first
Right.
thing. The second thing is understanding what's happening to the human body. Okay, cancer is something that your body produce. Okay, it's basically malnutrition cells from a cellular level. These cells need micronutrients. They need micro support, micro everything. They need micro everything. Okay, so think about your body as multiple layer, bone density, wiring of your nerves, blood. It's just layers, stacks on layers. So if you hit some, you're not gonna catch all if you don't approach it from a systematic regulatory perspective. Okay, so aside from that, the other fun fact is your bone, right, is a crystal machine. And once a person enters into a state of non-breath, that bone still resonate for 1 billion years. Okay. So sometimes when a person say, oh, I feel this person's presence, yeah, they're still alive, but in a tiny, tiny space, very tiny space, right? That's why your ears can't pick them up and your eyes can't pick them up, because they're in a small, tiny space. And to regulate this whole anatomy, it takes a certain level of electric energy, because that's the only thing our body need from anything that we put inside of it. That's the only thing that it wants, is that electric energy transmitted through the plant to you in an organized state. So where we are, status now, we as a people have to become more intelligent if we want to get the results that we're looking for. Um, Modern day medicine is great in emergency states, but as a being regenerative, happening on a daily basis, you have to upgrade the way how you look at what we are and how we regulate.
Mhm.
Okay, so coming in the near future, um, someone enter into that space, which is what we call a transition, is going to be a thing of the past. Okay, so with the technologies that we're going to be developing, okay, you're in this first on here, it's going to be fantastic. Why is it going to be fantastic? Because we're going to be able to create conditions to help people's structure to be able to heal from a cellular perspective, even when they have no breath. And that's called technology, right? So as a technology, we are supposed to be learning about technologies, understanding how we interact with technologies, and understand how we, technology, and the atmosphere interact together. Okay? Because the body does not know how to do anything else but proliferate. But what conditions is it proliferating in is what gives you the outcome of disease, chronic inflammation, diabetes, so forth and so forth and so forth. So before someone reaches that state, we always like to get in there and take them out of what we call the red zone, right? And help them to reconstruct, because life is something that you have to build back. Okay? It's something that your liver does, your kidney does, your bone does every single day. So you have to support the life that you want to live. So if a person has diabetes, they're going to have to go on a protocol. Why? Because your liver is underneath metabolic stress. You have to first relieve the stress and then support the functions of the liver, because the liver is a mineral bank. And when your mineral bank runs low, there is no cofactors for your body to create healthy cells. And I don't know anybody that's ever gotten their mineral bank checked to see, hey, how is it operating? If the mineral bank is good, what is the fiber saying within the depression, the anxiety, right? You talk about mental health. These are signals that your lipids are running dry, you're burning out. Okay, your receptors are burning out. If you're of depression, most of us have PTSD from the past. Okay, so we're just jumping into that. And once you realize that your body's going through this, The modern medicine, like I said, is just for emergency.
Mhm.
But from a nutritional perspective, it has to be organized. And why am I saying this? Because these are things that I had to find out for myself. You know, I had my own health challenges, and I realized that going to the doctor was not helping my life. I would just get an emergency medicine, but I would still feel the same symptoms return, or I still deal with the same thing. And then I realized, oh wow, everything is kind of against us. Let us do something about this, right? Every 6 months, I have to be on a protocol. And what is in this protocol, right? Natural botanicals, scientific verified botanicals. So not random plants. You don't want to throw random stuff at it. It has to be sent in organized. So think about you wanting to drive a super fast car. You got to put the parts to the car together, fuel it up nice, make sure you give it a map of where to go, and make sure you stack everybody in there that need to get out the car when the car gets there. And that's what healing is. And that has to be done in a consecutive way until you get the relief.
Yeah. She's being very humble. Go ahead, you ask questions.
I want to take a moment.
She's being really humble right now. I'll be honest. If you notice, I'm out the picture because I want her to be the spotlight. This
Hey,
young
I
queen,
understand.
listen, this young queen is a genius. Okay? Y'all, this is the word. I wanted to come on here first, right? Number one, because we Black. I'm not a racist, but there's a reason we as Black people need to do these things to show all sides of who we are. Radio, informational, science.
Yes.
We're into science. We're into quantum biology. And we're both also in medical school too, right? So we're learning what doctors know, but we're approaching it from a scientific perspective because things are always new. We're learning new things. We're learning about cancer now. We're learning what it is. We're learning. So this person that we're talking to, we can't say we cure, right? For the sake of legalities and for your radio station. But what we can say is clinically, what we have observed clinically was stage 4 triple breast cancer. We have about 5 clients right now. Not one of them. We have not lost one patient. A client. Tumor shrinking 10 centimeters. I wish I would have met you while your dad was here. We would have got on in adjunctive care, but now we got you. We're going to make sure you're okay. So how we do this, basically, what we do basically is this is a trend. There are others that are doing it, but they're not doing it the way that we're doing it. I'm an indigenous bushman. I've been healing people for years. I'm the first person to cure myself of COVID and broadcast it all over the world. People were doing my steam therapy all over the world. I saved millions of lives. But that's the bush medicine. But we had to go deeper.
Right.
And now that we're deeper, Empress is now on a professor level in college. And she's talking to doctors, and doctors that are in ICU in colleges, cancer doctors, are approving her protocols.
Yeah.
So this is important to have these type of platforms to educate our people, to let them know, listen, it's a couple things you guys are going to need to do.
Yeah.
Right? And the first thing is to be disciplined.
Correct.
It takes discipline to be healthy.
Yeah.
And it takes when you get to, if you're in a medical position, a sickness, and you're dealing with people, it's always good to know what else is there.
Yes.
And it's so critical because in emergency medicine, the key component to healing is electrons.
Correct.
And protons. So when you're talking about healing biology and bringing a living being, keeping a living being alive, electrical energy must be inserted, and plants are the only thing that do that.
Yes.
So in the case of your dad and many others that we're dealing with right now, it was severe malnutrition.
Extreme.
Because the body has all the components to repair itself. But what happens when the body goes into an acidic state, the cells close up and they don't let anything in.
Yes, because they don't break the rules for anyone. They just close the door and be like, okay, I'll wait here until you get my outside right so I can collect this glucose so you don't got diabetes.
Yeah.
So it speaks in a language of discipline, threshold, right? Accordance, consistency, nothing sharp, nothing harsh, and it has to be precise.
Yeah.
100%.
So if you guys have people out there that are diagnosed with cancer, or you're someone that wants to do a preventative cancer, what that means in scientific terms is that you are going to get your blood work done, and you're going to have people like us look at it so we can see what you have precursors, right? And there's things that the body does before you get sick.
Correct.
right? Because we have to reverse engineer disorders and diseases.
Mm-hmm.
And when we reverse engineer disorders and diseases, what we find is it's micronutrients,
100%.
it's genes, like things that get turned off. Like if you don't know that, if you don't have that type of knowledge to understand, you're doing dandelion root, but you don't understand it's going to have to be deeper than dandelion root.
Yes.
Because you have to study to show yourself approved.
Mm-hmm.
It's called photobiomodulation.
Right.
And what that means is that light must enter into your body in a certain form.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing that in medical practices right now, not in the mainframe medical practice. So it's very imperative for people like us to step up, especially in our community, that are affordable. Number one, some people it's $1,500 just for consult.
Yeah.
We do free assessments.
Yeah.
We read the blood, we do all of that, and we set up protocols and we talk to people about their health.
Yeah.
And it's adjunctive, meaning it's not against general practice of care. So if you're in chemo, if you're in whatever you're going through in your health, we can come in as an adjunctive care and give you and help educate you, because it's about educating yourself to understand what options you have, right? When it comes to your wellness. It's something that our community is completely oblivious and blind to. When we talk to people, when they tell us there's no cure, and we're looking at them telling that we're scientists and there is cures, then we show it to them.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I want to come in and let me just say this on the record. I got to talk to Rasa and Queen Empress offline. I'm gonna try to help you all put together a podcast, because y'all giving our viewers and listeners.
I was gonna say y'all are dropping some gems over there, because
we have lots of gems.
I know that's right. I know that's
and
right.
It's gonna be bright, guys. So don't be sad, okay? Just honor the life that was before us, right? So we honor the life that was before us. They give us the baton to figure out what they couldn't figure out. That's our job, is to figure it out. And what I'm saying is I'll figure it out. So the conversation is going to be beautiful, and the future is going to be great. And in the future, we'll be able to help everyone, including people who have lost their family members. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I love that. I love that y'all have found a way to connect it all, because everything is connected. Everything is connected, from your mental health to your physical health to, like you said, you can get down to your micronutrients and everything. Everything is connected. There's no way that all of it isn't connected. So I just want to say I appreciate the work that y'all are doing, and
thank you.
Just keep up the great work, y'all.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, whatever questions you may have, even if you want to ask these two people offline some questions and get in contact with them, we will make sure we set that up for you, Silas, so that way we can have all of you all that's on the platform right now connected. And let me just also give a backstory real quick about Brother Rasayana and Queen Empress. They first came on my platform, ironically, in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, when they came on, when it was me and DJ Roland hosting, we got breaking news that actor Chadwick Boseman, Boseman passed away from colon cancer. And this happened the same night that Rob the Empress came on our show. And fast forward, of course, the transition of your father, Simon Baby, who lost to his battle with pancreatic cancer, to now today we lost another star in Hollywood, James Vanderbeek, from colorectal cancer. So it's so ironic that we bring these two on here again, while learning the news out of Hollywood that another famous actor passed away, who is not a part of our community, but still a talent who transitioned too early at the age of 48 years old, in which actor Chadwick Boseman passed away in his 40s as well too. And I'm 42. I just turned 42 a few days ago. So it's a very vital moment for people like me that is of age, that's in the 40s, and to have a platform like this, because people, like I said earlier, people are transitioning and dying too young nowadays.
Unnecessarily is what I call it.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily. When you're thinking about it from a human perspective of how the body is modulating, right? You have different people who read blood work differently. Some people read blood work and see green and be like, oh yeah, I'm great, but are having symptoms. What are the symptoms saying? What were you diagnosed with? Is this chronic thing keeps sticking at you, still poking at you? Do you still drink soda? Okay? These are the things that we have to pay attention to. And there was a time when, we would just get up, go outside, go to the grocery store, and just follow the routine. But as intelligent beings, if we are looking around us and we see flies just dropping, we need to stop and think, pay attention. So what we are doing is we're paying attention and we're making preparations for the future. So even if we get into that situation, we will resurrect ourselves with our technology. That's what I'm saying, basically, because we are smart enough to do that. And that is what we're supposed to do. We're here to learn what the planet is, learn to understand what the environment is, okay? Pay attention to what we are. Somebody telling you that you're black and you're all of this, that's one aspect of description. But when you come on to your biological, okay, biological, you are 100% crystal. Okay? Your bones are crystal. It makes oil, it makes blood, it makes a lot of stuff. You're living with a magic tool, and we have to make sure that the tool is charged properly. Okay? And so for us where we are right now, the first thing that we need to do is stop listening to everything that's out there that's false. Pay attention to the facts. What is the fact saying? People are having higher rates of diabetes, cancer, all type of stuff. Why? The food does not have the nutrients like it did before, right? They talk about global warming that's affecting our bodies. Nobody stopped to pay attention to these things, okay? So what we want to do is we are creating a shift where life expectancy is going to go up. Why? Because we're addressing underlying issues. We're not allowing them to persist. We're going to stop them where they are, give the body the support that it needs for it to fix itself, because that's all it does is fix itself. Your body heals itself, but it needs tools, real tools that are alive, and that has electric energy converted from plants. Okay? So this is, I know a lot of people say that it's alternative, but it's really the only option. The only thing that's alternative is a machine that can keep you alive, okay? Like a ventilator. That's an alternative, okay? Because it's a machine. It's outside of you. But for something to work on the inside of you, it has to match the size, the language, okay? It's codes against codes, organization against organization. Do we match? Are we a pair? Now, can we dance? Okay? So from this perspective, we are sharing the information, the knowledge, and we're also developing, like I said, operating systems, technologies, developing infrastructures where human beings, doesn't matter what color they are, because the color is just an expression of your environment. Any other conversation is ignorant and does not worth speaking about. So for the technology perspective, we're going to be developing that because everybody's going to need it. It doesn't matter where they are, where they're from, what they're doing. Every single bit of pieces of breath called a human being is going to need this, because we understand what's happening around us. We understand what happened when we step outside, and the air that we breathe and the food that we eat, how it breaks away at us every day, and the stress that we get that burns out our receptors and strain our kidneys. And now your kidneys can't function properly, so you're not going to get proper red blood cells, and your oxygen is going to go down. And it's a whole loop of negativity. So what we're here to do is to stand inside of the discipline, because when you stand inside of the discipline, nobody can test you. Why? Because nature has laws. And when you stand in the laws of nature, life persists. So it has to be done intelligently to be able to accomplish wellness. It's definitely not mediocre at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kofi watching us in real time right now from Africa, saying watching and sending hugs from Ghana. I appreciate you, Kofi. I know you got to go, Silas Alexander, and I really am honored to just have you on the platform with our other special guests and telling your story and sharing your testimony, your story about your father and what your father meant to us and everything. And before we let you go, Silas, what do you want to leave with as your closing remarks, as your last remarks to the people out there that even followed and grew up listening to your dad, like myself? And what is one thing you want to say to your dad if he was still alive to this day? That's a two-part question.
Okay. For the first part, I'm gonna leave with something he said so infamously. Stay positive. At the end of the
That's
day,
it.
we have to stay positive. And I mean, when things don't seem like they could be better, they can always improve. There's
Hmm.
always a worse situation. And at the end of the day, your attitude and how you approach it changes everything.
Hmm.
And so if I could say anything to him, well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna speak to him because, like I said earlier, he's still here with us. I appreciate you more than I could ever put into words. I thank you for all your teachings. I thank you for all of your guidance. I thank you for all of your love and your patience, and just I thank you for showing me what it takes to, again, like I said, be a man, to love my wife, to love my people, to love my community, to give, because at the end of the day, giving is what helps all of us. If we all give, we can just all improve.
Hmm.
Um, just, I mean, thank you for, I mean, literally everything. Thank you for just being you. Thank you for giving me the blueprint, and I will love you forever and ever.
Oh, well, I know your dad is listening and watching and just telling himself and telling you in the spirit how much he is very proud of you and the accomplishments that you have done thus far. And also for me and DJ Rollum, we kind of mimic a little bit of the Simon and Chubb, you know what I mean? Like he's the big dude, I'm kind of like the smaller dude and what have you. We hope to keep making the people that paved the way for us, including Simon, happy and proud by the work that me and DJ Rollum are doing in the radio market as well as podcasting and is concerned. Because we're one of those people that grew up listening to your dad,
Mhm.
and we just want to continue on carrying that legacy. So we
I
really
love it.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it. And then thank you for this space, and keep doing your thing. I'm beyond proud of everything you're doing. Just keep going. And blessings to all of you again, and
Thank
keep
you.
doing the great work, all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
Yes.
appreciate y'all time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
brother.
you.
you so much. The one and only Silas Alexander will reconnect offline. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. We got a little bit of time left here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Rasa, Yana, and Queen Empress joining with me this evening here before we wrap up. And again, Rasa, Yana, and Empress, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to
You're welcome.
be a part of this platform again and to provide information and wisdom to people that's watching and everything. And again, we're in a time right now where people are transitioning very, very early, very, very young.
Hmm.
And so, um, the same thing with you guys as we getting ready to wrap up. What do you want to leave people with as they're watching this episode for the first time? Because it was a lot said, it was a lot to take in.
Hmm.
And what do you want to leave the people with? That may be, still performing their daily habits, whether it's consuming alcohol or eating processed foods and not working out, this, that, and the third. What do you say?
The first thing I would want to do is say the first thing you have to practice is self love. Okay. Self love is an exercise that you have to practice. When you have these negative thoughts that pop up in your mind, you can practice silence the noise, silence the noise, silence the noise 3 times. Anytime it comes up, silence the noise, silence the noise, silence the noise. And you do this. This is an exercise. That's the first place is practicing mental strength.
Mhm.
Okay. The other thing is practicing listening to your good thoughts, and they normally line up with positivity. So that's a good way for you to see which one it is. Okay. Positive thoughts, positivity. Line them up, practice them. Allow that good energy to flow inside of you so you can think clearly. And then the second thing that you do is if you do have an issue for more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 30, 40 years, it is time to come out of the red zone and it's time to step into a Rasayana and Empress protocol, right? You can call us 305-902-6281. We will have a conversation with you. We will get you back into a calm state where you can remember who you are. And then we will go through the adjunctive care, right? We will talk with your doctors if you need us to talk with your doctors,
Hmm.
guide you through the process because we do know that it is a lot dealing with health
Hmm.
issues. it strains on the mind and make you even more sad, more anxiety, more depression. So we do understand the level of care that has to go along with escorting someone from an unhealthy state into a healthy state. And then the next thing we do, we set up a plan for you, right? The plan is going to consist of nothing but scientific foundation application, which means that if it does not fit the function, it does not go, right? And then we teach you about how to eat, because a lot of people don't know how to eat. Some people think that drinking alcohol is fine. So if they don't know, they're not going to stop. So I would say mental health, practicing self-love, getting the knowledge, getting the education, seeing the light so you can follow the way, okay? The truth, the light, and the way. You got to see the truth to follow the light to even find your way, okay? So that is what I want to leave with the people. We are here, right? We are on protocols ourselves, and we're here to help anyone who wants to get out of that state and feeling like themselves again. So we're here to, assist, support, help, do what we do, because we're brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and Rasa, any last remarks, any last words you want to leave with the people?
Listen to God. Listen to God.
The good thoughts in your mind.
I know that's a
That's
good
it.
thoughts in your mind.
I know that's a concept that's hard to grasp in the world we live in today. But I wasn't talking from a religious perspective.
Yes.
God is love.
Yes.
So listen to the good and the love within yourself. It's going to guide you where you need to go.
Correct.
That's it. Listen to that. And don't rob from people that you know are good people. Treat good people good. Give them the honor while they're alive.
Yeah.
Spend the time, like you said, spend the time with people who you may not, you don't know when, how things are going to happen in life. Spend time with the ones you love.
Yeah.
Show love, show kindness, and enjoy your life.
Yep. And if you're ready, come and get your protocol.
Okay. What's the telephone number one more time for people that didn't catch it?
305-902-6281.
Miami, baby.
All right. There you go. They're based out of Florida. So give them a call, and hopefully we'll bring you back on. But I'm serious about talking to you guys, talking to you all offline about putting together a podcast, because you all are definitely saying something that will definitely, that definitely will reach out and reach to a lot of people listening to this show. So we'll talk offline. But again, thank you all so much for coming on. Therapy Ain't No Joke. And again, thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another great episode of Therapy Ain't No Joke with your host, Sean Garvey. Every Wednesday night, we started late over the past couple of weeks, but we're going to make sure eventually we're going to start on time at 7 p.m. Until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are on the East Coast, 7 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, at Mental Space Live, follow us there. But if you want to follow me, all the information is at the bottom of your screen there, and the ticker at Sean Garvey ATL. You can also follow us at Mental Space Live on all social media platforms, including Instagram. I want to leave you all with this, ladies and gentlemen. If you are someone you know, because we've been giving out a lot of information, but these are the two important numbers that you need to write down if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis. We have what is called NAMI, which stands for the National Alliance for Mental Illness. Contact the National Alliance for Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI. That is 1-800-950-NAMI or 6264. You can also send them an email to info@nami.org. Operational hours are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, if you need to speak to someone immediately after those normal business hours, you can always call or dial the 988 number that you see at the bottom of your screen there. Dial the Crisis and Suicide Lifeline number 988 if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis. Got to give a shout out to Mario Reyes. I told him I got to big you up. Because he is in association with an event that is going to be taking place this weekend. in lieu of time here, because I'm running out of time, I'm going to share the information on my social media page at Sean Garvey. Okay, so I'm going to take that information that Mario Reyes sent to me earlier, and I'm going to post it on my Facebook page. So make sure you follow me at Sean Garvey on Facebook so you can see the event details on what's going down in the Atlanta area. So many different events happening this weekend in Atlanta, but I'm going to let you know what particular event is going to take place. If you or someone you know trying to get out during the Valentine's Day weekend and trying to catch a vibe, or take your date to something spectacular and enjoy some live entertainment, some spoken word, some great poetry, and all that good stuff, just follow me at Sean Garvey on Facebook for complete information. All right. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to Therapy Ain't No Joke. And I usually end off with a saying. I don't have my script in front of me here, but I'll make sure I'll be prepared next week. So that way I can be on point with that. And also, before I forget, I would be remiss if I don't shout out to singer and songwriter Ray Melody. Big shout out to you for the theme music that you are hearing in the background right now, courtesy of Ray Melody for Therapy. Her information is right here. There we go. All right, guys, it's been my time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Therapy Ain't No Joke. If you missed any of tonight's highlights, we have it on demand on our YouTube channels, the Mental Space Network, YouTube, Reach One Network, and the Honey channel. And like I tell everybody towards the end of the program, don't make every day bad news. Make every day good news, and always keep yourself and others in a great mental space. All right. Until the next time, I am out. Take care and each other. Have a good night.